If there is something you wish to know and by meditation you can't find it, speak about it with the first acquaintance you encounter. Heinrich von Kleist. That's something that happened to me when I was in question and I couldn't find the answer. It actually happened like this. When I found this quote, it felt really weird. It felt like déjà vu almost, because I was writing and I got stuck. I didn't get the answer. Not because I didn't get from what to get it. I knew too much. That's something that happened today as well. I knew too much and I didn't knew one core thing. Like, where is the root? I was trying to find the root and I couldn't find it because I was searching it between the leaves. Like, if you get the allegory, I was trying to pick it from the details, from the kings, and so the scene happened in the empire. There's this emperor and there are these 8 kings, and I was trying to pick it from there, but in reality I didn't knew that I need to dive into the basics of the mechanics of the world, and that I need to say it out loud, like toward my oldest sibling who has no idea what's going on. Ти пам'ятаєш, як це сталося взагалі? Anyway, I don't remember how it started. I remember that I picked this huge core board of mine, and I was already pointing at where is the empire, where the kingdoms, and my older sibling Jana is standing near me, and I just explain random things. And because the 5th chapter has all of these kings and the emperor, I needed to explain how it works. I can't say that, for example, like I did in my last video, I said that my mom threw questions and by her question I found the answer. This time it was quite opposite. At first, Jana couldn't ask a single question because she didn't understand anything for what I was saying. It felt like just some twittering of some, I don't know, misunderstood prophet, and just people have no idea what he's talking about and how does it make sense. And when I realized that she has no idea what I'm talking about, I started again. She already wanted to sleep past. I sized her, said that no, you're not going, give me a second chance. And I started again. I started talking from the very core, from something I know she already knows. That kingdom of Solara, from these 6 siblings, and that they are trying to, what is their goal, that they are trying to save each other, mainly. Of course, they're the royal family, but the core is still that they want to save their family first and kingdom later. So kingdom is like the secondary thing, because if they don't save themselves, then there's no kingdom to be saved. And I started from there. I started speaking slower. I started noticing what I'm saying, what I'm not saying, and I started to pay attention to things that I took for granted, something that seemed obvious, but what seemed obvious and I didn't even look at it, I needed to explain. And while explaining it, I got the whole picture. Like I got, it felt like blowing the dust from the old books, from old things. Like that's how it felt, because I found and created those things at the very beginning, and I already pushed them away. So I didn't look at the roots of this tree seedling, and I already was trying to look at the leaves that only appeared, something that I only recently discovered or created. While I didn't look at the roots because, well, they're already there. Well, I did need to look there because the interaction, what actually the emperor wants from these kings, what drives him. That was the core. That's what I needed to know, and I wouldn't have looked at it if I didn't have a sister who doesn't even read fantasy. She can barely suffer movies fantasy, but I started explaining to her, and I found it as my mission to interest her in it, to interest her in my story, while perfectly knowing that, well, that person isn't a reader, like in this commonly accepted sense. And I started explaining to her, and I said that, and I started explaining to her what happens in this 5th chapter, that even despite that the emperor is angry at all the kings, I didn't say it to her like this, but I moved from there, and I said that, well, he's giving them this huge power. They don't know why. They don't know why. He won't tell them. He does not trust them, yet he's giving this huge power to them. And I started explaining it all, these planets that I created. Oh, you don't even know I created planets. I never told you. I started drawing planets. I drew planets for my. There are 12 planets in my. I am creating right now. I have 4 planets, and those planets have to do with this. This chapter, and I started explaining it all. Then I saw where it all goes, like where the kids went missing and all of those things. It all started coming together, but not in this kind of blink in which I usually do. This time I got to, like I said, it's just to blow the dust from these forgotten things I have written. I just spoke, and while speaking I realized that I actually did a lot and I know a lot, but that's the issue. Like during the first time when I scared Jana off, I tried to push it all into this 5th chapter, to make it all into one conversation, like in this one chapter, while I need to start from the core. Even though I wasn't teaching, but one of the greatest violin soloists, Ishak Perlman, he said that when I teach others, I teach myself. And like I said, even though I wasn't teaching, I was opening something that I already know to someone that doesn't know it yet. So I needed to rediscover it all through Jana's eyes and Jana's ears. So it was something that I neglected it. Plus, like I said, I didn't really want to, because I already know, like, that person doesn't read fantasy. That person won't be interested. Yet I found it as my goal to make it happen. And it was really interesting, and I feel like I neglected it, because you don't really, how will you open it to someone else? I think it happens not only with any book. You can take it as fiction, just fiction. It doesn't has to be fantasy. Yet I think also as a perfectionist, I want to appear with already perfect creation. And as I think most of you do. I think most of the creators want to appear with already a masterpiece and something that is already ineffable and just flawless. Yet like I said, I neglected it, and I wish I tried it sooner. After that day, it was Thursday. I was writing no stop. I was writing from early morning till late evening, and even after till midnight. It was a long writing session, the one I mentioned before in my previous video. If you look at it, I talked with 2 people about my book. With one, I just opened the world, and the second one, I told the issue, the problem. That was my mom. So these people helped me to open the world, the issue, and I got to rediscover it. And I can't explain it, but I felt like I was possessed, and I got this image of where I should be going and everything. Right now I'm stuck at the world building part and the things that I just should sit and write out. The main issue, I surpassed it. I managed to write, knowing that not everyone has the luxury to talk, to have someone to talk to share. I used camera at that moment. These videos actually did help me a lot. If you have been watching a few of my videos, you probably have seen how I, in the middle of the video, got this idea, this spark, and then I was writing it or explaining it straight into the camera. So it doesn't have to be, I mean, it's worth trying when you're writing, especially for the first time when it's so obscure and you don't know where to go, for example, like me. I think opening a camera and or a voice memo, I don't know how it's called in English, or even just to open dictaphone, it will be awkward at the first time, but as you let the words go and you start from the core, from the anchor of the story, and you let the words, you trust your words, and because there's no camera, there's nothing you can, mostly you trust your words, and you usually you will say the most important part. If, for example, imagine you're I can't say that it's really you have to tell what's the movie, what's the book about. I just listened how Hans Zimmer writes music for his for movies, and mainly he says that he asks for directors for them to explain the movie for him. He does not read the script. He wants to hear the words. So basically it helps not only for, that's like the later stage, but even if you use it as a writer, it's hard. All writers say that it's hard, but if you really try on camera at first, like I said, explain what is it about, what carries the characters, what moves them. It does not have to be stakes, the plot, or the ending point. Maybe. Right now I don't see it as those points, but what is the core? What is the anchor of the story? What does the character, what is their path? What moves them? Those kind of things. And then I explained the setting, the world, and only then I moved to the stakes, to the main threat, to the villain. It does help to see the story in its bigger and in its clearer form. Of course, I still don't I'm not the writer to have the clear plot points. I don't feel the interest in writing then. I mostly like to write as I see. It's like driving in the dark. You only see as far as the lights show you, but you don't see the whole road. So I like to write like this. I feel the excitement, I feel the time discovering something, and that's something I love writing for. That's something I liked since my early childhood. I like to imagine by steps, not by the ending point, but how this chain of events and misfortunes, or how it all tangles up into this whole story like DNA. I don't know. Yes, of course, writing process is mostly you and your head, and then there's this world. I'm always there. I'm always in the story. There's no moment when I'm not in it. Half of my mind is always working there. it's exhausting at some point, but also that's what's really interesting in it. I don't really know whether it should be like it. That's where I end my video. You can write me, do you think it was useful? What's your opinion on it? If you have any, if you don't, you can just drop a like to support this video, and or any kind of comment. It can be even a dot. And of course you can put a like. It will help me a lot. It will support me and my path and will make it easier. And if you want to see how it goes, you want to see more discoveries and well, whatever makes you interested or whatever made you watch this video till the end, you can subscribe and watch my other videos. And that's it. I hope I will update you next Friday. That's all, folks.